We keep seeing articles on record-breaking HDB prices and property prices still steadily increasing. So buyers, what should you do? Should you pull the trigger now in anticipation of even higher prices in 2025? Or wait for a potential drop in prices because Minister Desmond Lee said earlier this year that housing prices are not expected to rise indefinitely as market shows signs of easing. And if you are a seller, should you wait to sell next year or get ready to let go at a possible all-time high within the next few months with the expectation that prices will drop soon? Hi property enthusiasts, I'm Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. You might have watched me bring you on tours of some estates here in Singapore and also my showcases of super upscale landed as well as rather affordable mass market condos. Well, starting with this video, I'll do two things differently. First, I'll be analysing more comprehensive hard figures from property databases and portals, paying closer attention to price fluctuations and volume of sales. This is so that you have a more objective understanding of the market today. And second, I'll be zooming into districts that I'm a lot more familiar with. If you're planning to buy a new place or sell your home within the next few months, particularly here in Punggol, make sure to follow me and subscribe to this channel, okay? Are you as excited as I am for this new series? Let's go straight into our first in-depth episode of the Punggol district. So Punggol, you know where it is, but chances are people staying in the west and central of Singapore will say this neighbourhood is very ulu. That might be true when the first flats here were delivered in the early 2000s. But today, Punggol is one of the most well-planned towns in terms of the work-live-play integration. I won't go into the details, but the 4.2-kilometre waterway path that stretches from Sungai Punggol to Sungai Serangoon literally end-to-end of the entire town. The PDD or Punggol Digital District, which will form the Silicon Valley light mini technology sector in the northeast, and Coney Island, which is a haven for short nature walks. These amenities have enticed many young families to set up homes here. If you wish to discover more of Punggol, I invite you to watch my episode on this district by clicking on the link above. Anyway, Punggol is a new town zoned with 25 or so clusters enveloped by roads and rivers. And while this district is almost a quarter of a century old now, new flats and condos are still built today. So really, you get a very distinct flavour of older but bigger EAs here, contrasting with very well-designed newer apartments with the best water views. In this episode, I'll zoom in into this cluster here, which is marked by a small mall called Oasis Terrace. Here, there are three sub-clusters or developments, if you will, sort of like a condo but without the fence and gate. There are Waterway Woodcress to the southeast of Oasis Terrace, and Waterway View and Waterway reaches north and opposite the waterway. So what I'll be doing is to present to you my research on this particular cluster, specifically on the hard data, what you can find here, and my subjective take on what's good and not here. Among these three developments are 24 blocks of flats consisting of 3, 4 and 5 room units. All the units here started their lease from 2016 to 2018, so these are pretty new with 90 plus years of lease left. There are no condos in this cluster. Prices of 3-room flats of around 730 square feet in size have transacted around the 500,000 to 520,000 range. For 4-room flats of around 1,000 square feet in size, the latest transactions are around the 650 to 650,000 mark. And 5-room flats which are around 1,200 square feet big change hands at around the 780,000 price. If you ask me, while these prices certainly aren't low, they represent pretty fair value, considering you'll be served by a mall with an LRT station literally next to your block. And if you know how to select, some units have pretty good waterway view. Some, for the time being, have even more exclusive street view towards Johor. Now let's take a look at the price trends. My producer has so kindly consolidated these charts for our easy perusal. Let's take a look at the 3-room flats first. You can see that the mean price has slowly crept up from around 450,000 in 2022 to 500,000 today. For 4-room flats, price has also steadily increased from 600,000 to around 670,000 today. The story is similar with 5-room flats, which increased from 770,000 in 2022 to around a little over 800,000 in August 2024 as of the time of this filming. So for 3 and 4 room flats, price have increased by around 11% for the past 24 months, but 5 room flats fare worse at only 4%. The trend seems to suggest prices should continue to go up. Anyway, I'll share more of my views later in the video on whether you should act now to buy or sell or wait till 2025. But before I do that, let's first take a look at the design of the flats here. Now, most of the blocks here are the rather typical 8-unit per floor type of design that's very popular with HDB in the 2015s. A few of the blocks like 683B and 669A are point blocks with only 4 to 6 units per floor. But oddly, there's this block 669B, which is a long common corridor block that's reminiscent of flat designs from the 90s. And no, this is not one of those elderly condo or 老人公寓 that just have 2-room or studio units. Most of the units in this block are 4 and 5 rooms. Moving on, design of the flats here are rather modern, with playgrounds, fitness stations and green spaces littered in between and around the blocks. There's an amphitheatre beside the man-made river, and landscaping is pretty nice. Drop-off points to the blocks are also all covered, and parking is multi-story for Waterway Riches and View, but under the blocks though, at street level at Woodcress, which I prefer more personally. For the blocks themselves, some of them are built with their void decks on elevated grounds. It forms a refreshing look as not all the blocks are on level ground. But I wonder if residents will dread going up to the stairs to the lift lobby every time they come back home. But regardless, with the river and a wave bridge at your front yard, I'll feel a sense of peace if I lived here. And as mentioned, some lucky residents towards the north of the cluster have an unblocked view towards Coney Island and the Johor Straits. Well, at least for now, until the land parcel opposite is built with more flats. Oh, there are a few roof gardens here too, at the car park and some blocks. Moving on to the floor plan, these are the typical floor plans of 3, 4 and 5 room flats. They are quite very functionally designed with pretty conventional space for the living room, kitchen and bedrooms. Except for the 5A layouts with rather huge rooms for today's standards. And at 1,275 square feet, there's really more than ample space for the average family. Let's now discuss the amenities in this cluster. Now, unlike most other clusters, there are no coffee shops or mini-marts here. But there's Oasis Terrace. This satellite mall is by no means tiny. There are many eateries here, including the staple, McDonald's and KFC, a couple of not bad restaurants and a large food court at level 4. You'll also find a good-sized fair-price supermarket downstairs and several shops which sell things you can easily buy online. I wonder how they can still survive. But I know what will thrive here, let alone survive. The more than 11 enrichment and tuition centres here. There are also a few other child-focused businesses like a baby gym and a baby spa. Also situated here is the Punggol Pony Clinic. Not sure if it's a good thing, but hey, it's here if you ever need it. Also nearby, within 10 minutes of walk, is the Punggol One Integrated Hub, which has an awesome library, an OK food centre, another McDonald's, and lots of government facilities there. In another year, when the sports hub fully opens, it's just 5 minutes of walk by the waterway to the stadium, swimming pools, and numerous other sports facilities. Further away, via a quick 5-minute cycle away, is Punggol Digital District. SIT is moving there in a few months, and by this time next year, we'll see dozens of tech firms offering similarly well-paying jobs there. And if you drive an EV, I just read that PDD will be home to the largest number of EV chargers anywhere in one place, some 151 chargers in total. Honestly, I'm really excited about the prospect of Punggol when all these amenities are up, and this cluster being so near to where I've mentioned will definitely benefit. Next up, in terms of connectivity, this cluster is served by the Oasis LRT, which is 3 stops away from the Waterway Point and the Punggol MRT. And from there, you're connected all the way to Harbourfront via the Northeast 9 or Purple 9. There are some buses here, but I'm really uncertain where they go. And for motorists, this place is around 7 minutes drive to the TPE or around 10 to 12 minutes during morning rush hours. Frankly, the traffic in and out of Punggol is something of a bugbear because the expressway exits are rather badly designed. But at least there's a newish road in the form of Punggol North Avenue that connects to the Lorong Halus slip road out to TPE, as well as the most recent Seletar Link flyover that hugs the north side of Seletar Airport, providing an alternate route out and in of Punggol to the CTE. And with the future Cross Island MRT 9 up in around 2032, travelling to Pasir Ris and onward to the airport will be a breeze. So, before we go analyse the price trends of properties here, let me share one more rather unique and unknown selling point here. Do you know, if you cannot decide between jogging or cycling along the waterway, you can actually commute in the river, specifically paddle in it? Operated by Fever, you and your family can hop onto a lead-powered kayak and explore the Punggol Waterway in 2 hours. It's beginner-friendly and kids-friendly as well, as there are no waves in this waterway. If you are looking for a bit more adventure, you can even paddle into the Punggol Reservoir. Perhaps one day I can bring my family and crew for a cohesion event here. Okay, now the conclusion. Should you pull the trigger to buy or sell now? First, the buyers. In my opinion, if you have recently downgraded and are eligible to buy another flat, then I reckon you should purchase as soon as possible since price seems to be still going up. But if you have downgraded or plan to downgrade from a condo and you want to rent for 15 months first, then I think this is the perfect time for you. Rental prices have fallen quite a lot this year and are continuing to fall. And while you wait 15 to 24 months while renting, you can take your time to wait for a lower interest rate to return. For sellers, especially if you are selling a property in Punggol, I think it's very difficult to say if we are seeing the peak now or will prices still increase. My take is this: before the general elections happens, chances are prices won't fall. But next year after the GE and with so much news of $1 million flats and the average citizen feeling the pinch, there's no telling if another cooling measure will be introduced. And when that happens, prices could likely correct a bit. So if I were you, I would probably look for a potential place to move to first before I sell. And this act by itself warrants you to act sooner because even if you sell high, you'll be buying high too. Hence, if you have intention to move, it's probably a good time to initiate a chat with someone like me soon, so that by the time you're selling, you'll be towards the end of the year already. So, I hope with all this information that I have shared, I can help you make your choice more easily. If you are still looking for more information, be it for Punggol or any estates in the east like Sengkang, Tampines and Pasir Ris, you can always send a question my way. I'm just a WhatsApp away to getting your dream home. Regardless, make sure to subscribe to this channel, ring the notification bell and follow me so that you'll be alerted to the subsequent episode of this series where I'll deep dive into another cluster in Punggol. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!